We are closing into Vestmannaeyjar on Iceland.
We are Emmy and Marcus, and after crossing the finish line of our toughest sail yet, we get to enjoy the beautiful islands of Vestmannaeyjar, a group of islands just south of the Icelandic mainland. This is the time between two offshore passages, when it's time to lick our wounds, get back in shape, and prepare for what's next. While waiting for a storm to pass and a weather window to form between here and the Faroes, we learn about the island history and hike around in search for puffins.
We are closing into Vestmannaeyjar on Iceland, and we are so happy to see land. We have about 10 miles to go before we enter the harbor of Vestmannaeyjar Islands, and yeah, our passage has been pretty rough. We haven't filmed much. We have been seasick, we have been tired, we have not been eating. We have just had a mess, actually. I think this is the most exhausting passage we ever had, actually. So that's a good one to tick off. Anyway, we're so happy to see land, and we are full of energy now again, and we'll enjoy Iceland and Vestmannaeyjar a lot, I think. Really close to the Vestmannaeyjar Islands now. Just like 15 minutes before we turn around in between the mountains and the volcano. Wow, and they're really cool, beautiful islands. They look so yeah, dangerous, but still green and lush.
I guess you can't even begin to imagine how good it feels to have arrived here to Iceland and the Vestmann Islands after this sail. It was a crazy sail with so low energy. How good it feels. Now that we have arrived here in Iceland, we have put this last long leg behind us, and we have gotten a really good night's sleep. It's even floating docks here, and for the first time in ages we haven't had to like think about adjusting the lines for the tide. It's well protected here, so it's just been a super calm, quiet night, and we have been able to clean away a bit in the boat. So yeah, we have checked the weather forecast and it looks like we arrived just in time. The wind is going to pick up, and then where there will be a few low pressure systems just circling between here and the Faroes. So it looks like we will be here for at least a week, most likely a bit more than that actually.
We have had a lot of waves and salt spray over Linnea, so I take the opportunity to fresh her off.
We found the path leading to Eldfell. That's today's goal, to walk up the volcano. Sailing for 5 days. It's not good for keeping the shape. Actually, we've been sailing very much the past months and not done very much of this. So, yeah, very uphill. We made it to the top!
Whoa!
A bit windy, but the view is great!
Yeah, it's just amazing. Since some of the parts of this passage to Iceland was pretty rough, we have had some pretty high loads on the lines on board Linnea. So this is the reefing line. It's been chafing in the reefing point in the mainsail, so the cover of the rope has just worn down. The good thing, it's the core is Dyneema and it's really strong and copes really well with chafe, so we have more or less no damage at the core at all. So we just cut the line since we have excessive extra line for this reefing, so we can just cut it and make a new knot on it. So even if we have these low friction rings in our reefing points in the mainsail, over time and under high pressure and stress, the lines can chafe. On some places on Linnea we have put some extra Dyneema cover over the lines, so the chafe is prevented even more, because this Dyneema cover chafe protection is really strong. So that type of cover we put in places where the chafe is really tough. But for this reefing line I will just cut it off. The winds that falls from these cliffs here on Vestmannaeyjar is just crazy. At one time there's like no wind, absolutely nothing. It's just still and it's pretty warm and it's just great. And then you have these falling winds from the high cliffs accelerating like crazy, and then you have like 30 knots, bam, in a second. It's just crazy. So Linnea is slowly getting ready for a new passage again. I've checked the rig and fixed some of the chafing on the lines. I've put some covers on some of the lines and just cut away the chafe on some of them and changed lines on a few others. Have never had this much chafe ever, actually. I think the lines are getting older and not as like slippery and strong on the cover, so probably that's why we got a lot more chafe this time. And yeah, of course the weather and the conditions to the passage to Iceland was a bit rougher than we have had experienced before, so probably that's also the case.
The storm has finally passed over. It's been a couple of really messy nights here, just banging into the dock. But now the wind has decreased and we are much happier. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that we can leave. The weather window has kind of closed and we wouldn't reach the Faroe Islands before the next low pressure system hits, which would mean that we would be beating into 40 knots of wind, which is not something that we would like to do if we can avoid it. So we have decided to stay here for a couple of more days. It looks like it could open up beginning middle of next week. So we keep our fingers crossed for that. And in the meantime, we are going to enjoy this really beautiful island and explore some more. We even booked some tickets for a museum this morning. But when I went into the bathroom to brush my teeth, I got this rather unpleasant surprise. Let's see if you can see it too. A big cruise ship. Which means that they have been loading off busloads of people onto the island for the past hour. So there will probably be a lot of people in the museum just this day. Good timing. But yeah, we have been stuck on the boat for quite a few days, so either way it would be really good to get out and just walk around the island and
stretch our legs a bit
and look at this museum.
Yeah.
And maybe some puffins.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to put on some more clothes because it's quite cold in the wind, and then we're off. You can really tell that we have been heeling over a lot the past days. There's like debris and grass and stuff like 2-3 decimeters up on the top sides. Yeah, we have really been heeling over and bumping into the dock here. But all looking good.
The Eldheimar Museum is built in remembrance of the 1973 volcanic eruption that changed the lives forever for the 5,300 persons living on this island. The island we are visiting is called Eldheimar, and it's the only inhabited island of the Vestmannaeyjar. In the early hours of January 23rd, 1973, the volcano erupted. The eruption lasted for 5 months and is one of the biggest natural disasters in Iceland. The museum is built around one of the houses that were totally buried by lava and ash, but has now been excavated. The eruption left 20% of the island covered in lava and ash, and a new volcano, Eldfell, the one we walked the other day, had been created by the lava fountains. The island surface grew by 2 square kilometers. Of the people living here, all about 300 rescue workers evacuated in a single day. It's a fascinating story, and they have made the museum to tell it really well.
We are on the west coast of the island, and these cliffs, they're just so magnificent. And we have come here in hopes to see puffins, so we are following the trail a bit south on the island, and hopefully we can find some. Can I take a picture? Yeah. Oh, we got to see them releasing the small pufflings. Apparently the pufflings, like the small puffins, they try to leave the island and head out to sea, but they get a bit confused by the lights in the town, so they fly the wrong direction and crash into town instead. So all like school kids and adults, they have cardboard boxes with them, and then they collect the pufflings. The pufflings get measured and checked so that they're not injured, and then they come here to release them. And we were lucky enough that there were 2 families coming here releasing them just as we arrived. Ah, they were so cute.
Our search for puffins has continued, and we have now hiked to the south peak of the Eldheimar, the biggest island on the Vestmannaeyjar Islands. And now come and see. There's a lot of puffins. On the, I don't know, kullar?
Hills.
On the hills, there's a lot of puffins. They're like sitting everywhere. Oh, so cool.
Vestmannaeyjar has the largest colony of puffins in the world. The birds arrive in the summer to mate, and at this time, at the end of August, they are preparing to head out and spend the winter at sea. Over 1.1 million puffins lay their eggs here each year. As we didn't see that many puffins the day before, we were afraid that we might be a bit too late in the season and that most birds had already left. But a helpful local told us that a visit to the south part of the island was still worth it at this time, and we were not disappointed.
Tomorrow it's time to leave Iceland and the Vestmannaeyjar Islands, and it was just one more thing that I wanted to do before we leave the Vestmannaeyjar Island, and that was to climb this hill. It's a pretty high one, and since we had a pretty long hike yesterday, Emmy wasn't so keen of hiking this one as well, but yeah, this was one on my bucket list here on the main island of Vestmannaeyjar, and yeah, I really wanted to hike it, so yeah, why not hike it? On my way to the hike, I passed the fishing area here in Eldheimar, and you can see the big nets lying here in the harbor, drying or just waiting to be passed on board a ship. They're just huge. Yeah, it's really hard to imagine how big and long those nets are, and what they're capable of fishing out here. Yeah, it's just insane. I'm at the beginning of the hike, and the hike is 279 meters above sea level, so you get pretty high up actually, and it consists of like these steps and ropes and stuff, so yeah, we will see. It will be a challenge. The view from up here is really beautiful, but it's a long way to go. I'm not even halfway And you can actually see it's not just steps, it's ladders. But if this is halfway, I think it will be worth it. I'm already quite exhausted. Should be like 100 meters to go and not foot meters. I'm going up another 100 meters. We saw a lot of puffins yesterday, but up here it's also a lot of puffins sitting and resting after a day at sea, I think. Well, I made it. The view up here is just, yeah, I can say it again and again, it's just amazing. Oh, the way up was pretty tough though. So I think it will be pretty tough going down as well, actually, since it was a bit slippery in some places, but yeah, it will go fine. Well worth the hike up here, and a nice goodbye to Vestmannaeyjar and Eldheimar. I'm on my way back to Emmy again, and tomorrow we set sail for the Faroes, so it's a perfect time to end this episode and say thank you for watching this week, and I hope to see you next week. Please give this video a thumbs up, that helps us a lot. Also, consider checking out our Patreon page, our Facebook page and our Instagram, and like the things we do there. See you next week, guys. Bye.